And that was a shoot. Yeah, that's full-blown shoot.
Since you want to shoot, cowboy!
And now, the Real Shoot Wrestling Podcast.
Real Shoot Wrestling, episode 19. I'm actually still here. My name is Gabe Jones.
I thought we were going to lose you there for a second,
I
brother.
did too, man.
But it feels good to be back. I'm Tim Heel, and let it be known that I am very happy to have you back because it has been a struggle the past...
Trust me, it has been a struggle for me too. I almost died. Just so you guys know,
I like to laugh about it.
If you ever get bit by a tick and you know it, make sure you go to the doctor and check that out, because you might be dying.
In all actuality.
Anyway, so honestly, I've been kind of in a coma the last month. So this whole last month, I mean, it's been about a month since I've been on the show. So
yeah.
So it's kind of like this last week, I've kind of woke up and it's like I've watched some of these shows and I'm like, what? Why does the internet like Eva Marie all of a sudden?
I don't even know if the internet likes Eva Marie, but it's just she has that new entrance, so it's, to me, very. I like her anyway, so the entrance. But they actually just dig
what she's doing now, so I'm like, what is going on?
It's because it's funny.
It is funny. It's good too.
But what else is cool is what happens at that moment when she finally has a match and she can wrestle.
How long are they gonna? I can't believe we're leading off the show with this, but how long do you think they'll?
Yeah, I don't know why we're leading this show off with this. Like, this should be an extra.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's with me too. Is the whole wow aspect to it, but it's entertaining. It's good. I
guess where I'm getting at is it's been about, I don't know, 3 weeks since the roster split. And I would say she's in the top 5 of wrestlers that have benefited the most from it. I think Dolph is up there.
Yeah, but that whole situation, like, I don't get it. Like, Dolph, it's like, oh, he wins. Oh, he's not good enough to win. Like,
you mean the
everybody, everybody wants him. I don't even know if it's the internet. I'm sorry, but I don't think there is an IWC anymore because everybody complains. Everybody.
I think they have this expectation level that kind of like when Zack Ryder was in the IC title match at WrestleMania and they thought he would never have a chance ever to win that match. And then when he did, what did they do? I mean,
yeah,
they were pretty. I mean, a lot of people were happy for him, but a lot of people were like, well, why didn't Kevin Owens win? Why didn't Sami Zayn win? I mean, they always have an excuse, but it's like, you finally have these guys pushed that you've been wanting this whole time, and it's like they're not even giving it a chance. I mean, I love it personally. I think that's been one of the best storylines since the roster split. It's even been surprising for me because I didn't know if they could pull it off, but their promos have been absolute gold. Like Ambrose.
I mean, Ziggler. I've liked them, and I've even liked how they interacted with
Bray Wyatt.
But I even like how they've all interacted with Daniel Bryan and Shane as well.
Yeah.
In the situation. I hate the fact that it seems like, Bray Wyatt keeps getting hurt in the situation, but at the same time, like,
where do you think they're going with him? Because he's still, like, in that picture.
I don't know.
You think they're going to add him to the match, or what?
I don't think they're going to add him to the match, but at the same time, to me, it's almost like, well, you got to give, like, Dolph a deeper.
I almost want him to continue.
Reason why he won. You know what I mean?
I want him to continue to do what he's doing, with the title picture, like constantly getting in the way, to the point they finally have to give in to him and give him a title shot, and that's when they finally put the title on him.
As long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah, he always seems like he is out for 3 to 6 months a year with something, but
hopefully that changes.
But I like where that's headed. I think SmackDown overall seems to be, I hate saying the words better show, but I just feel it's better organized, if that makes sense.
I feel like it's going to be going back and forth a whole bunch.
How so?
Like, I feel like they're setting it up for certain shows to be better than certain shows in certain weeks. That's just me, though.
Do you think that there's an honest, like, split in even creative team? Like, do you think that they...
Do you think both shows are creating both?
Yeah, like one show has one creative team and one show has another. Because I don't know. I hope that that's how it is.
I do too, but that's kind of hard. I mean, like I said, it's kind of hard to know that unless, that's something you got to go really looking for.
I just feel that that Raw,
because I haven't heard that, otherwise that there's two. You know what I mean?
I just feel Raw is still kind of trying to find its place, and I feel SmackDown kind of already feels like it knows where it wants to go.
Yeah, well, I think it knew where it wanted to go before it even got there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they had, but I don't know. It's weird. It's like right now, Raw is like the New York Yankees. They have all the good players, but they can't seem to be winning, and SmackDown is the more veteran show with the mid-carders that could be main.
Yeah.
And it's helping that show more. But honestly, to me, I think both shows are not bad. Somebody gave this past Monday Night Raw like an F. Like it was that bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
I know.
But I feel like the first show was the best, whereas SmackDown, I feel, keeps getting better.
Exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, Raw came out and killed it. Let it be known, like, we're here to do some different stuff, but then we need to let you know that SmackDown needs to step it up. You know what I mean? I think it's literally they're playing off of each other.
That's how I want it to be. I mean, I really want it to be like, hey, I'll do this kind of thing.
Yeah, there needs to be that. Listen, we're gonna beat you. Period.
Yeah.
And this is how we're gonna do it. People seem to get upset and go, well, Raw's roster's so much better than SmackDown's. Well, it's really not. Depending on what kind of wrestling fan you are,
but
I don't think it is at all. How I know what you could say and who all's on Raw, but let's think about this here. AJ, Cena, Dean, Bray, Dolph, the main title in the IC title.
But I'm thinking of like even like where Raw's going to be going with the cruiserweight division and how that might even elevate that show to where that needs to be.
I think,
especially if
it has a third hour. It might as well, because if you think about it, CWC is going to be done after the tournament, and then everybody bitches about this extra hour of it not being any good on Raw. Well, you take away an hour of network time with the CWC, and that hour, I'm not saying use all of it for Raw, but you spread 2 and 3 cruiserweight matches through a Raw, and that takes up that'll take up an hour. By the way,
it's a lot more than an hour now.
What do you mean?
The main event didn't even start till 5 after 11 this week.
Yeah, what's up with that?
That's what I mean when I say...
I think they have signed on to go to like 11:30 if they want.
Like, that's what I mean when I say it's not organized. I mean, that just seems like... That's not something...
It's live TV, though. Who knows what's going to happen?
And they don't go over like that.
But they also don't have like you said, don't have as much. So it's more, it might be more organized.
one of the right now the only cross promotional kind of thing that's been going on is Orton versus Lesnar, and it's been a really crazy week because of the Ambrose podcast and how he called out Lesnar. And,
Now that I couldn't make it to that part.
Okay.
I didn't make it to that part in the.
Okay.
So what did he say to Lesnar?
Well, a lot's been said about the podcast and how Ambrose just didn't seem interested in because Austin kept probing him for, well, what was your family life like, blah blah blah.
Yeah, he wanted something out of Dean that Dean just didn't want to tell him.
Yeah, and then, so finally he moved on to wrestling, and Ambrose at that point I just don't think he cared, and so he said, yeah, Lesnar just didn't want to do anything. He actually said he was being lazy, and and I mean, you and I said that that week after Mania when we talked on this podcast that Lesnar mailed that in. I mean, I thought it was obvious.
Yeah, it was, to me, that was just a lame match.
But I have felt that, and this is really weird for me to say this, and probably would be weird for you to say this too, but Randy Orton has been what has kept this feud interesting.
No, because it hasn't been interesting to me.
But I would.
But I do see what they're doing. But at the same time, to me, Orton, since he's came back, has been weird and trying to pull strings to get over.
It.
Like what he did the other day. What is he doing? Do you think she's stone cold? What is?
I like his. I think he has a swagger, and I think a lot of it has to do with him being off for so long. But
I mean, I can see that rejuvenation that's there, but it still doesn't do anything for me.
I'll just say, when they first announced this match, I didn't have very much interest, and the way that Orton has come
how
back,
I felt about it.
I know. I mean, but the way that Orton has come back, I'm actually interested to watch it now.
Yeah, I mean, it gets on my nerves the way they've done the whole 14 years in the making. They wrestled on SmackDown.
They did. But I'm glad that they don't ignore that. I'm glad that they go back to the OVW days and explain that. That's the storytelling that they usually ignore.
But maybe they're saying it's 14 years in the making of getting them on a pay-per-view or some shit.
Yeah. But so and I think what adds to the story is the whole Raw versus SmackDown thing where
which is fine right now because honestly, I understand the whole crossing over and don't do that. But when it's in this situation, starting off when the match was already announced before the draft and everything, I like the way they're handling this. As long as it, and it seems like those are the only two besides Heath, which just isn't signed with either one, and he's just trying to get signed. I like what they're doing there.
What do you think the locker room is like right now with Lesnar? Especially with, I feel like Ambrose was speaking on behalf of the locker room when he talked about Lesnar on the podcast. Because I think that there's a general frustration with Lesnar right now.
Well, yeah, but there's a general frustration with anybody that has the ability to do what they do when you have somebody busting their ass every week. Day in and day out.
Yeah, but I feel like...
And it also doesn't help whenever, Brock Lesnar goes and does UFC and then gets caught with...
But I feel like
stuff in his system.
If Cena, who's eventually going to have the type of schedule Lesnar has, won't have that type of animosity towards him. I mean, he might have a little bit, but...
I don't think Cena will have the animosity at all like that because of... it was here and there. I went and did a movie. I went and did this. I went and did that. But it wasn't like The Rock. It wasn't like Stone Cold. It wasn't like Shawn Michaels that took years off.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels took 4 years off at one time.
Well, yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. It was,
imagine what he would have been able to do if he would have been there for 4 years.
And he probably would have died.
Well, I'm not saying
there was other circumstances.
But it didn't take 4 years for him to get.
Well, he didn't sober up till 2001, and he came back the next year. So.
Yeah. So he just went hard as hell for 3 years.
That because from what the stories that I've heard is he came in the night that WCW was bought, and Shane showed up on Nitro, and he showed up that night out of his mind, and that's when they had the intervention after that. And that summer was when he sobered up. Oh. And it was the very next year with SummerSlam he came back. Isn't that 2002? Isn't that about right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, enough of the history lesson from me. The one guy that has had a lot of analogies to Shawn Michaels, and it's because of the way that he sells so much, is Ziggler, who I think has had, him and Ambrose have had, I think, the best feud since the roster split.
I mean,
and I think
I can't disagree.
And
with
I think
that.
a lot of it has to do with the way that they've built up the super kick. Like, they've really made this into kind of like how back in the spring when Ambrose was teasing his DDT, and Triple H would just like sell the hell out of it. I think that's what they're trying to do with the super kick and finally make that into a Shawn Michaels like move.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I'm not saying a kick in the head doesn't finish people, but I don't know. It's weird. I like it, but at the same time, like, people just make fun of it anymore, and it pisses me. Well, it's overdone because of Vince McMahon. Period.
Well, I think
Vince wanted the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks did super kicks. The Young Bucks didn't sign. Vince got mad and had everybody start doing a super kick. And because Vince went and did that, the Young Bucks go, okay, we're just going to step it up a notch. And then they started doing it like crazy.
Yeah.
And then it started to become a super kick party. And it got over. And everybody's mad at them because they took away the legitimacy of the super kick. Well, guess what? There's a difference between a super kick and a sweet chin music.
Yeah.
You might not think that, but there is. Shawn Michaels does the sweet chin music. He knocks people out with it. A super kick, it isn't the Young Bucks finishers. And a lot of people forget that too. The super kick is not sweet chin music. So when the Young Bucks do the super kick, it is just a wearing down move. It is not a finisher.
Yeah.
So the Young Bucks didn't go and ruin that move. But the fact that Dolph can do it in WWE, as long as nobody else is doing it, left and right.
Yeah, that was a thing, though. Everybody was.
As long as nobody in the WWE now is doing it all the time, he can make it a legit move.
Yeah.
But if you're still going to have people throwing kicks left and right...
It's kind of like how in the late 90s everyone was doing a pile driver. And even though The Undertaker had his tombstone pile driver, nowadays he's literally the only one allowed to do that move. And so,
well, because in all honesty, a tombstone pile driver, the way he does it, is a lot safer than a pile driver in general. So, and plus, there's so many ways that you can deliver a pile driver.
Oh yeah.
So, you got the way
you
got the way the package pile driver like Kevin Owens. You got the way Lawler used to do it when he would pull you down with it.
You have the way Owen Hart did it.
All right, that's wrong.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, Austin. Let me think. Another one. See, I'm still coming out of a coma here, so.
I mean, I could take this if you want.
No, it's all right. I'm okay. I like the way that they've built it up, and I like when they finally put emphasis on a move to a point where he actually beat Bray Wyatt with that move.
I'm pumped about it. I hope it's his finisher. But I get sick of how quickly people are like, oh, how'd he beat him with a super kick? How'd he do that? Well, they're making it a legit thing now, so allow them to do that instead of bitching about it and go, oh, well, they've used that for so long, it doesn't work now. Or, oh, I've wanted Dolph to win for so long, but he's lost for so long, now I don't believe he can win. But what if he does now? It makes it that much better. It makes it that much more of a bigger deal because he did win.
Yeah.
And people just... If there's one thing I can tell all wrestling fans in general, it is patience. Let the story pan out.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's a lot that went to crap, story-wise. Like, just the most recent big story that's just went to crap, I would say was it last year or like the year before? The thing with Dolph, Lana, and Rusev.
Right.
TMZ messed up the story, so it just went to crap. But let's look at all the good stories that they've had and that they've fully pulled out. And I mean, this is something that never stops. People don't realize that too. It never stops. You never have months to write something. You don't even have 2 weeks to write something.
No.
You have to have something new and fresh to entertain the people that like it every week, and something that is supposed to bring in more people every week as it goes.
Yeah.
Do I like everything they do every week? Hell no. I don't like anything that everybody does all the time. There's things I don't like ROH does. There's things that New Japan does, and I don't like it. There's things in everywhere that I just don't like certain things.
Yeah.
And that's just me being a wrestling fan, but I don't go to the internet and just blah, 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 you know? Because then you got the people that's like, oh, well, I'd like to see you run a show. Well, you know what? Give me some fucking money and let me run a show and see what happens. I want to give you the opportunity to then turn around and look at me and go, so, see, I told you so you couldn't do it. Because I guarantee you wouldn't get that opportunity. I'm not saying if I had the ability, I'd be going up against Vince with my
No, you wouldn't have to.
booker or promoting, but like I could book good wrestling.
Yeah.
So it's not hard, but WWE seems to make it that way sometimes.
They do. Rusev, you mentioned Rusev. He's been on fire.
This honestly, in general, like I've told you, I've liked Rusev for a minute now, but now it's even better. And who would have thought? He punched he beat Triple H. He beat up Triple H. He punched Vince McMahon in the mouth. Everything he does in Rusev's the one that ends up getting him over.
Oh yeah.
Because honestly, this is what should have happened in the first place.
I mean, not even Cena got cheers against Rusev. I mean,
yeah, like this is how it should have been in the first place. There is no way, shape, or form that Roman should have went from being in the Shield to world champion.
Are you worried that they're doing that too soon with Finn Balor?
No, because who's to say he's going to win the belt?
I know, but like, can you imagine?
Who else have they brought in like that and just straight boom?
I know.
So it's something new and different. It doesn't mean he's going to go out and win, but we need to know that he's a big time player.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
he is.
Yeah, yeah. The whole thing with Roman Reigns that I'm worried about, and I've even read that this is just kind of like his thing for now, but as soon as this is over, as soon as SummerSlam is over, they're going to put him back where he was.
Well, no, it's not, because they announced, and even if they do, it doesn't mean anything, because they announced that Brock's going to get whoever the champion is at Rumble.
Royal Rumble, yeah.
So if Brock, which I think is god awful,
yeah, that's another reason why I wondered about the roster with him.
Just put him with Strowman. Strowman versus Brock at WrestleMania 33. That will be a physical mess. But it does, so even if it is Roman, who cares? Because what are you supposed to do?
Here's the thing with the roster split now, and this is what I like. If you don't like the show, you can watch the other one.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, and I feel like there's a lot of people that they don't like WWE, so they just watch something else.
Yeah.
Like people say, well, how am I supposed to watch that much wrestling when I only have that much time? Well, let's look at it as people that feel the same way, but also just like the sport of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And they only have that amount of time. So they're probably watching, let's say, a CWC or an NXT or a New Japan on AXS or What Culture Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
On the UK, or just watching a a different thing because they like pro wrestling and they only have that amount of time. So of course you're getting some people that's not watching Raw. So them doing the same old stuff isn't helping them either. So hopefully they don't think that putting Roman in the title picture is good, or that Brock being the champion is good, because they've done that and it's just led them to where they are now. And it seems like, me as a wrestling fan, I am pumped about wrestling right now.
Oh yeah.
But you've got your casual that's like, well, this is dumb, where's The Rock? Where's Stone Cold? Where's John Cena? Because they don't even have enough knowledge to realize that Cena's on Tuesday Night SmackDown now. And honestly, like, go watch something else. You're just ruining my wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, that's another reason why I think, like, the casual fan, the kid, they've targeted this audience, and then, like, they have...
There is no one in that company that can make more money than Finn Balor if they do it right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's hot. Women love him. He's got a cool gimmick for kids, and dudes love him.
Dudes are gay for him.
Dudes are super gay for him. No, what I'm talking about is that the guys that like pro wrestling, he's legit pro wrestler. The women that like looks, he's got the looks. And the kids that like the armbands and the face paint and and that kind of stuff.
They'll be able to sell so much stuff with the demon stuff.
Oh, after he hit SummerSlam and it's been seen worldwide by everyone and not just NXT. Watch.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I think, honestly, the way that they're building him, I mean, the way that they've even had documentaries on the network for him when he was just in NXT, I mean, I think that it's indicative of how much the company believes in him. And I mean, they wouldn't put him in the title picture the first day that he's on Raw if they didn't believe that.
And I feel the same way, and I also feel that he deserves it, and it's something new. But yet again, people are still going to bitch about it.
I just hope that they don't try to make him the face of the LGBT movement that they want to put.
Oh, we're going to bring that up right now? Yeah.
I actually read people saying that they were... that they think that that'll be what happens.
Why?
I don't know.
Why him, of all people?
The internet. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So what are they going to do with this? The LGBT? Like, what is that?
I have
and more top stars. Like, you're going to have storylines with them. All of a sudden, you're going to make certain wrestlers gay. You're going to push Darren to a certain...
I'm sure...
what could they possibly be doing
I'm sure
with this?
Knowing the WWE, this will end up being very tasteful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You'll have Bischoff announcing the lesbians to come down. And Braun Strowman will come out and beat him up.
Dude, Braun Strowman, man, I'm a fan of the squash match. We've said that before.
I would almost be okay if they ended up setting up Lesnar and Strowman.
Like, I think Strowman just got a bad rap. I feel like he could be pretty good.
Well, because Vince... it was the same thing with Roman Reigns. They knew that Vince wanted to push him to the moon and have him go against The Undertaker.
Yeah, but people need to chill out about that, too, whenever it's the whole, like, oh, we're going to push him. Well, I mean, let's think about it. We already know it already happened, but let's say somebody else beats Taker at Mania.
Okay.
People say he's not worthy. But at the same time, if they're worthy enough to beat Undertaker, why do they need to beat him at Mania?
I think the difference, honestly, though, is you can push a guy without putting him down your throat. I mean, you can push Roman Reigns in the feud that he's in right now against Rusev and not have him dominating the main title picture all year round.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what they did with The Rock. And if they would have put him in the main title picture when he was getting booed to hell, he would have never been the guy that he ended up being. But instead, they had that slow burn, and he was in the IC title picture for the first year and a half he was in the company. And that allowed him to grow so much as a character, while guys like Shawn were in the title picture.
Yeah.
I think that's what they need to do with Roman Reigns.
I think right now they're fine with Roman Reigns. I wouldn't mess with it at all. I don't even see it being a problem with him being the U.S. champion. I don't think he should win it this pay-per-view. But I like what they're doing, and if this works, then I think they should do it for a minute.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, do you got anything else WWE related at this point in time?
We need to talk about this Cedric Alexander.
No. That's CWC. I'm talking about WWE. I mean, because I think it's a pretty big deal that today was it went on ESPN.
Oh yeah.
Today's the day.
I'll be interested to see how they cover it. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of ESPN, and I know why they're doing it. They're struggling. They honestly are, and because I mean they have been a company that has pretty much been anti-wrestling, so much so that when the XFL was on, they just buried it as much as they do hockey right now. And
why are they burying hockey?
Because they don't have any of the rights to show the games, so why would they cover it?
So wait a minute, I'm sorry that I'm like ESPN dumb right now, but ESPN doesn't cover hockey at all.
Barely. I mean, it's like a 5-minute segment on SportsCenter.
On every game, it's done in 5 minutes.
No, yeah, like the entire night of hockey they'll cover in 5 minutes.
Wow.
So I mean it's. And the ratings have gone down. The stock price has gone down. They've had to cut a lot of people. I think this is something that they're just trying to.
Wow.
Find somebody to watch ESPN.
That's
honestly, and they know.
Well, they also got Coachman there now too.
Yeah.
So it helps the situation.
Even though he's an absolute idiot,
but. My last little bit of like WWE news is this week they have decided to no longer do business with Ryback.
Oh yeah.
They've
well, they didn't decide that this week.
Yeah, I mean they probably had it figured out,
right now.
But did it just run out or?
Yeah,
I didn't know if they made it to the run out before they announced it or anything. But yeah, so.
There was one other thing I wanted to touch upon, and I'm not someone that watches a whole lot of like extra network stuff, like Raw pre-shows, but I watched Talking Smack this week for the first time. It's really good.
It's good. Yeah, I like Talking Smack, and Daniel Bryan is really good
and so
on
is,
it.
Renee Young.
Renee Young is awesome and should have totally been on the announce table over David Otunga. Period.
Maybe. I like
maybe.
Like, well,
period.
I understand that, but I think the role that she's in right now, I always felt like there was like one little thing missing with her, and I think that show has brought that out in her. And I don't even know what that. I can't even put a finger on what that thing is, but she is such a natural on that show.
I'll put a finger on it if I'm able to.
And so is Daniel Bryan, and even the way that if you guys haven't watched that, just the interaction that Daniel Bryan has with Eva Marie on that show, where she's talking about her red hair and Daniel Bryan calls her the Sheamus of the women's division. It's really good. You have to check it out. It's not anything like the Raw pre-show or anything. If that's what you're expecting.
It's not. It's definitely like I even like the part where Daniel was just like straight up like I don't appreciate what John Cena said.
Oh yeah.
Like that the first one after they did that segment with him and AJ.
Yeah. And he even calls out the stupid stuff that they're still doing on Raw.
Which it should be happening. Like that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a hey, my show's better than yours. Yeah. Hey, what are you thinking over there with your show?
It just seems very organic and not scripted, which is what I like.
A huge plus too.
Yeah. So hopefully Vince doesn't see that show and mess it up. That's the last WWE thing I had for the week.
That's mine as of right now.
That's a month of content that I've fit into 35 minutes.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I got one more.
Okay.
Joey Styles got released.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Which supposedly he said some stuff he shouldn't have said at a shoot interview or something, and
Which
that's what
is
got him
weird
popped.
because he always does. He always says stuff like that.
Maybe this was,
I'm thinking that he just wanted it out.
It's just like, honestly, like he should have went on the desk. Could you imagine him
On CWC?
Huh?
Like on the CWC?
I think he should be in NXT. I think he should be on SmackDown, if anything.
He doesn't want to tour. That's his thing, though. I mean, he's very insistent on he was happy with being in one place.
Well, then he should have got a job in Florida.
Well, I mean, there's other things out there now that he can find himself if that's what he wants to do. Maybe he just doesn't want to do it. But we should move on. There's a lot of other things going on, such as you completely threw me off last time.
Why? We need to talk about NXT.
Well, I wanted to talk about Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander.
We will get there because that was after NXT.
You're okay. Fine. Okay, so
NXT's for me killing it.
Yeah, so
except for their women, it's garbage right now.
Well,
except for Bayley and Sasha and this new Ember Moon. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what's going to happen with NXT every now and then. When they have these call-ups, I mean, you had it with the men a few months ago when they had all these call-ups, and the women's division killed it for a while. And now it's the other way around. There's going to be a void, and, you have to let the...
Win. I'm the kind of person, for me personally, I don't think NXT's ever been bad yet.
But there's been times it's been up and not as far up.
I've always been pumped with it.
I have too, but I mean, I'm just saying,
I've never looked at it as a downtime.
There's been times where...
right now, I think the tag division in NXT is huge.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And people don't realize that. They're like, oh, they just lost American Alpha. Oh, I understand that. But you have...
The Revival?
You have the Revival as champions. You have Johnny and Tomasa.
Yeah.
You have TM61. You have what?
I still don't know why they still keep their name.
Because they probably weren't allowed.
Okay, well, anyway.
I mean, why wouldn't Hideo Itami keep Kenta, Authorities of Pain.
Yeah.
Is
it Authors?
Authors of Pain.
D'Lo Brown's sons.
Yeah, right. Did you hear him speaking a different language?
Yeah.
And obviously, Chasing Nails or whatever, whatever the hell their name is.
But yeah, I mean, that's 4 or 5 tag teams that are legit.
Yeah.
It could be on SmackDown tomorrow.
So, while people's going... I mean, I said it myself, the women's division's kind of down. A lot of people think the main title picture's kind of down. Maybe it's time for the tag belts to be...
When you have an hour-long show, you don't have to have that deep of a roster.
Yeah, people don't realize that. This week wasn't that interesting. It's an hour show. You didn't see Samoa Joe this week because it's an hour show and there's still other stuff to get over. You'll see him next week.
Brooklyn is still a very stacked card.
Oh my gosh, Brooklyn is awesome between Rude's match and Aries and Nohe Jose. Nohe Jose what? I just said I don't know what the fuck I just said.
Spanish needs work.
Yeah, my Spanish needs some work. You got No Way Jose. You have Johnny and Tomasa versus Revival.
Yeah.
You have Naka versus Joe. You have Bayley versus Asuka. I mean, what else is there? Is there another match?
I mean, that's 5 matches.
All I'm saying is that weekend is going to be nuts.
Yeah.
For
It's
wrestling
gonna be
in general is going to be
bonkers.
nuts. You have ROH.
Evolve.
You have Evolve, ROH, SummerSlam that weekend, and NXT.
Yeah. It's definitely...
It's wrestling time, boys.
Yeah. This has been obviously there's always downtimes in wrestling, but this summer hasn't really had like the off season per se so far.
Well, for us, we enjoy it and we like it. You know, you got people like Bill Dunn, and the numbers are horrible. The numbers are bad, and numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers. Yet, he also says how they're the big leagues.
honestly, and this is I know that that's how they do advertising, and I know the importance of numbers, but honestly, USA would not give WWE another 2 live primetime hours in SmackDown if they didn't think that they were important.
Or making the money that they could make.
So, I mean, they're still the number 1 product on USA.
Number 1
Other
product
than maybe
on USA.
Mr. Robot.
And a lot of the time in the top 2 of their shows, or a lot of time in the top 10 shows of the week.
Still, yeah.
Still.
People, the way that people view content is constantly evolving, and it's just like music, man. They had to change the way that they view the way that they do gold records and platinum records because of all the streaming now, and that's what they're going to have to do now with TV and the way that things are streamed on Hulu and the way. I mean, how many thousands of people watch Raw on TV, quote unquote, illegally? Honestly,
I mean, there's times where I don't get to watch it when it's on.
Yeah.
And I like Hulu, but at the same time, there's still some things you don't get to see.
But there's an obvious trend towards cord cutting and not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll be honest, I cut the cord on a lot of stuff that we just can't get our hands on. Like,
Yeah.
there's stuff that we can't get, that you have to.
Yeah.
But, that's another whole
Talk about Cedric
conversation.
Alexander and Kota.
No, because we're
Please.
not done with NXT, because how glorious has the glorious bomb been?
Okay, first of all, there's 2 things with this, okay? the whole Bobby Roode thing has been outstanding. And, I don't think anyone has ever gotten over with music the way that he has. I mean...
Well, Fandango for a second, wouldn't you say?
I guess, but this is on another level. Because he's not on network television. This is an internet show, pretty much.
Yeah.
And this has trended for an entire week and a half now.
I mean, has there ever been anybody else that's really just got over on music?
People would say, Nakamura's music was bad ass, but this is on another level. I think.
They're singing Nakamura's music when it does come out, man.
It is, but people aren't making viral video clips of Nakamura's music the way that Gargano and Ciampa are.
Yeah.
Which, have they not had the best week and a half of anybody?
Oh my gosh, I know. You got...
We're not allowed to talk about it yet, but their match on the CWC...
we can talk about last week's CWC. That match was awesome. They're getting a title match for tag title match for NXT. You have the Glorious Bomb, which has gotten over big time, and I will talk about it now.
Are they still on the Evolve show coming up too?
Yeah, they're still on there. And let it be known that Tomasa is getting ready to face Pentagon Jr. for the AAW title.
Oh, okay.
In Illinois.
I wonder how much longer has he. I know Gargano signed to an exclusive deal. I wonder how long it'll take for Ciampa.
Well, I think they both signed to exclusive deals, but because he even says it in that promo. You can say what you want, but that promo between Pentagon Jr. and Tommaso was pretty intense. And Pentagon doesn't even fucking know English. But it's still... It's funny how Tommaso and Pentagon can have a promo back and forth to each other. It makes sense and it be good, They don't know what the other one's saying, but yet, it took forever for Roman Reigns to have a good promo.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yes, Tommaso and Gargano are they're killing it right now, and they deserve it because they are good and they deserve to get the attention. And with them taking over the way they are, there's another cat that's coming into NXT in September that could be right up there with them, and that's
Roderick Strong.
what they call him now is Mr. ROH, Roderick Strong, but he could very easily turn into Mr. NXT quickly.
I hope so. I thought he was a little. I'm not someone that follows Ring of Honor as closely as I'd like to, but he always seemed kind of underutilized on Ring of Honor. Like, he was better on PWG than...
Well, he was and he wasn't, and I look at it this way, because a lot of people don't realize this, but he has been in everything.
Yeah.
He's went to Japan. He has been he's been in TNA.
Yeah.
And he was in ROH for so long, man. Like, he was their world champion for a while.
Yeah.
He's been TV champion I don't know how many times. He has always been there and always delivered every single time they put him in any situation. And then, and I look at it this way too, because PWG and ROH did the same thing with Kevin Steen. When they're going to push you real hard in PWG, ROH kind of backs off you for a little bit.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Roderick and another guy. I can't even think. Sorry, go ahead.
Cesaro.
Yeah.
They did it with Hero. They've done it with Aries. They did it with Generico. They did it with Steen. Like, that's, and I don't see anything wrong with it, because it was that much bigger of a deal when they came back to the company.
Yeah.
So, I'm really excited for Roderick Strong in NXT.
That'll be exciting to see. Cedric Alexander and Kota Ibushi had a good match.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about that now?
We're allowed to talk about it now.
I mean, I'm okay with talking about it now because it feels like it's time to talk about it now.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. We knew that was going to be something special.
Oh
right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What about the first match?
Grand Metallic
and Tajiri?
Man,
that shit was awesome. And to me, not that I thought it was going to be bad in any way, but totally blew expectations out of the water to me, to where it was almost better to watch that than it was Cedric because of the surprise of how good it was. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, when you know something's going to be good, it's just like, hell yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But then the fact that you just had no idea that it was going to be as good as it was, to me, I thought Tajiri and the other, and that was just awesome.
It was good, and I hope Tajiri sticks around and is a part of the cruiserweight division and on Raw.
Well, supposedly, they want to keep him, but they're going to put him on SmackDown, I heard.
Okay.
But I don't see a problem with SmackDown because, and you can say what you want, and he fits in that cruiserweight division, but Tajiri can not be cruiserweight and it not be a big deal.
Yeah.
I
just really love the whole, and I've not got to talk about the CWC hardly at all because I've been
You've been out of it.
But the way that Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan tell stories during those and give the background of each guy, even talking about CMLL with Grand Metallic it just adds so much to the entire show, honestly, and you can tell the passion of both guys coming through there. I mean, I think that's been the most surprising thing, because when I heard Daniel Bryan was the caller guy, I was like, okay, I don't know if that's going to work, but
they have almost made matches.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, the Tommaso and Gargano match was good. but those two on commentary
Yeah.
made that match great.
It's exactly what Jim Ross and Lawler used to do in the late 90s.
I've never liked Lawler. JR totally,
Like,
and
he
I
made
totally
good
agree.
matches great.
JR made good matches great, and he made Lawler better.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, like, I've never been able to stand Lawler. I haven't liked Lawler since he wrestled with Bret Hart. I've never liked Lawler since Memphis. And he was out of Memphis before I was even alive. I'm just not a huge fan of Lawler. I'm just.
But anyway, I mean that's what an announced team should do.
Exactly. And I feel like Vampiro and Stryker
they
do
do
that
a really
in
good
Lucha
job.
Underground. I feel like Excalibur does a really good job in PWG. He gets a revolving doors of guys that work throughout the night that does it with him, but on PWG. But that's also good. You have the Evolve guys, which one of them is from ROH from back in the day, so I like that personally. I mean,
Kevin Kelly.
ROH, if you have Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness, it's killer.
Yeah.
If you have Kevin Kelly and Steve Corino, it's
Yeah.
even better. It's awesome. Steve Corino, I think, is very underappreciated
Underrated,
in the announcers situation. I also think Corey Graves has been a huge improvement
Definitely.
on Raw for announced teams. And pretty much just like anything else, TNA just has crap announcers.
Josh Matthews.
Josh Matthews is crap.
He's bad. So, yeah. Where do you think that? Do you think they've signed Cedric?
Well, knowing that he is in Atlanta this weekend, I'm not saying he hasn't signed. I'm not saying he has signed. I don't really know. I don't see when a crowd gives the reaction that they do, you wouldn't want to sign someone like that.
Yeah.
And there, I'm not saying there hasn't been a more deserving guy, but this guy has worked his ass off.
Oh yeah. He deserves that.
And he deserves a chance to be on your TV like that. So I hope they do, and they're just waiting for the rest of the tournament to get through, because I mean, how's it going to look if
Like I honestly think that the CWC for a lot of those guys is almost a tryout of sorts, and the WWE just kind of wants to see.
First of all, how you work.
And how you can work a crowd.
How you work a crowd and how you adapt to that bigger platform
And
type
I think Cedric
environment.
has proven that he can do all that.
And then some.
Yeah.
Not that you could put a company on his back and go, but,
but
you
he
can
can
put
work.
him. You could put him in a match with anybody, and it's going to be good. You could put him in promos, and he can talk. You can put him in a storyline with something, and him get it over. It'll work. So I definitely feel like if they haven't, they need to get on it as soon as possible with him. They need to make sure that he doesn't lose. They don't lose grasp of him.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee there's going to be at least 4 of these guys from this CWC that ends up on TNA.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think that they'll end up signing him, Gallagher, and maybe, I don't know if Ibushi or Sabre will sign. I mean,
Neither one will.
I don't think they will now. I think maybe eventually.
I honestly think that nobody can guess the actual winner of this, because it's way different than people. Like, people are just going nuts over saying Gargano's going to win. People are not saying Sabre's going to win. People are saying Ibushi's going to win. But Ibushi has already talked about who he's going to fight at Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Yeah.
You have Zack Sabre Jr. that's got stuff already lined up. I think if they don't jump on Nomar Dar
Oh yeah.
then they're losing out.
Even Gray Metallic.
For me, I just I'm not saying that wasn't bad. I'm not saying anything like that. It's just I don't want a masked guy right now besides what they already have, let alone a big masked guy.
Yeah, that could confuse Vince.
Exactly. Like he would, oh, Kalisto, you gained a bunch of weight there. And then Kalisto would be like, dude, Vince, I'm over here. Remember, I'm the guy that's from Chicago.
Yeah.
But, you got Kendrick that better be on.
Yeah.
You got Tony Nese that looks good and can go.
TJ Perkins,
all right. First of all, you don't dab on people while you're wrestling. You also don't act like you're shooting guns while you're wrestling, like he does, and acts like he's
Bullet Club
put
does.
him in the spurbs. Like no, like he pulls up a gun, but like it's just you don't dance with. You don't dance.
Okay.
Unless you're like Johnny B. Bad or Too Cold Scorpio or
Bubba Ray Dudley
or Rick Swan.
Oh yeah.
If you're Rick Swan, because Rick Swan is the man. I think he's going to be a surprise in this tournament if people's really not paying attention. So all in all, it went from 4 matches on the CWC. Now it's 2 matches a week on CWC.
Yeah.
So they're giving them more time, which is awesome to me.
Right.
I'm very excited about them giving them more time to.
And it's like the little things, like even that they have a time limit is really cool to me.
I was watching it the other day, and my dad literally out of nowhere went, "Did they just give him a time limit?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I haven't heard that in forever." I was like, "I know, it's awesome, right?"
Yeah, that's really cool. So we're taping this as TNA is airing.
Yeah, so it's happening right
on
now.
Pop TV, and we're not watching it, but we have heard that Damien Sandow has showed up in the Impact Zone
as Aaron Rex against.
I'm just calling him Teddy Rex
Against fucking Triple Crown champion of NXT of TNA, I guess, Bobby Lashley. He has the X Division, the World, and the Legend title. Whatever the hell that is. Why don't you call it a TV title? It was a TV title for a while. Yeah, the belt is a belt, and the belt hasn't changed yet. They've changed the name of it 4 times. Like, stop, TNA. Just stop.
Yeah, but I would be interested in, because I guess he's doing some shooting, I guess. So I'll be interested to what he has to say.
Oh, I mean, it's in a situation like that, and somebody comes into the brand like that. It's always an entertaining type situation to see what he says and what he doesn't say. Like for me, I'm not saying I'm a big fan of it, but for me, one of the most famous situations of like I was there, now I'm here kind of situation was X-Pac.
Yeah.
Whenever he goes and says, Bischoff, you better be careful because if you
Hulk
stop
Hogan's.
short. Those kind of things, and your ass is grass, and I'm going to smoke it. And if it wasn't for your contract, Scott and Kevin would be here now. And but him, I don't know why they made like a premiere video about it, and then all of a sudden he goes and says, "Hey guys, you know that promo where they're not announcing who it is? Hey, guess what? It's me." Like it's like I get it, but I don't get it. Like,
I think it's just.
Do you shoot for this week and like, hey guys, it's Damien Sandow, tune in, or do you?
I think that's
or
what
do
it is.
you? But see, to me, it's like put the word out there. You'll get more watch this week than they were before anyway. But then imagine and think about like the next week. Or the people that will go back and watch this week's, and talk about what's going on. I'm not saying it's a good decision, but the final deletion got a big pop for them.
I was just gonna say, they've had this is the second ratings pop that they've had in the last month.
Yeah, for TNA, it's literally got to be like you need to watch our TV because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They need to push for that.
Yeah,
Not like not like you need to come to a live show because you don't know what's going to happen. Like their TV, they need to set it up to where you watch it to see what happens. But who knows if they'll actually pull that off correctly.
Yeah,
but
TNA,
like I said, Sandow has premiered, and he came out during Lashley's promo. We don't know if he's heel or face. Don't know that. But he has arrived, and his name is Aaron Rex. I think Gabe said it a little bit ago. It just kind of rolls off your tongue.
Yeah,
like
what a catchy name.
Like
Great job, guys.
A rock
So,
on my face.
A couple other things. Lucha Underground, they just released their trailer for season 3, which is just around the corner.
What is going on there?
From what I've heard from Vampira, who was on the Austin podcast not long ago, this season is gonna be something else. Like this is gonna be the best that we've seen.
Is it because supposedly nobody's in charge, kind of thing?
I don't know. He just the way that he put it was the way that they tell stories in this season is so much better than they have been doing.
Can it also? Do you think it'll also be a situation like? Because when people watch Lucha Underground, they know it's a totally different type of wrestling show than anything else that's out there.
Yeah. And the other companies are starting to do the type of vignettes that Lucha Underground is.
Well, kind of, and at the same time, let's not forget where the vignette originated from. So, you got WWE and WCW, I feel like, when it pretty much they do movie previews for the wrestler that's coming. But this vignette, first of all, there's like, what the hell is Joey Ryan doing?
I don't know.
He looks like he just fell out of Clockwork Orange, and he has a gang with him. And then you have
There's
Johnny Mundo and them with another guy that looks
in this
weird.
Trailer.
There's
Cueto.
There's Sammy Callahan's in it. Vampiro grabs what's his name by the throat.
Yeah.
I forget. Puma's even in it.
Puma's in it.
I thought Puma was gone.
This is his last season. And I think he gets killed off this season.
Like literally killed off? Because, this is Lucha Underground. They'll kill people.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's like a casket deal. Casket match type thing, and that's how they're writing them off. But, it'll be exciting. September, what is it?
September 7th. It's the new season starts. And I'm... first of all, I remember when you told me, like, the bottom... part of the last show for the season, you were like, make sure you watch 6 minutes. First of all, let me say to you, why would I not watch the last 6 minutes if I was watching all of that?
Because I almost turned it off when it looked like they were signing off.
Oh.
I just thought that was the end, and then out of nowhere.
Well, I watched it on an iPad, and I saw that there was like so much time left.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have turned it off. But like that, I thought that was killer.
That was pretty good.
I'm excited to see what they're doing with that because, and I'm not trying to spoil anything, but supposedly he's the champ.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, I don't even know about the trios champion has even changed, which I'm pumped about this year.
Well, they've already filmed they're working on season 4 already.
AR Fox is in the mix now down there. And A.R. Fox, Willie Mack, and I think Killshot are the trios champions.
He was another guy in the trailer, Killshot.
Yeah. Which
that'll be good.
I'm very excited about. I think, Killshot's got some... I would change his gear, but I think he has some real potential. Yeah, I think he has
real potential, yeah. What Culture Pro Wrestling, they announced Jim Ross is going to be...
You're just running off my notes, aren't you?
Well, I saw it written on there. I was going to talk about it.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Well,
This is my stuff now. What Culture Pro Wrestling is awesome in general.
Yeah.
But they made the huge announcement today. The announcement for the PPV that they are going to be doing, but they didn't announce when it is. But it will be called
Soon.
Refuse to Lose. It will be a live pay-per-view for What Culture Pro Wrestling, and they are bringing JR and Jim Cornette to do the color commentary, and I think that's super cool. Let alone with who they're bringing in on the card in general.
Right.
You have John Henry. You have Cody Rhodes, the grandson of a plumber. That's what he said. You have Lethal versus El Largo again. Mm-hmm. You have Sandow coming in. You have EC3, Drew Gallows, Grado. Can you think of anybody else?
No.
I mean, besides the actual people that actually just works,
man.
that just flat out works for them, like Osprey now works.
Yeah.
Noma Dar from CWC is there again. It's just
Be a good show.
Doug Williams. This last week it was Sandow versus Doug Williams. I don't know if you remember Doug Williams. He was in TNA for a while.
Okay.
But Doug Williams is from the UK and he can go, dude. He can go, and they had an awesome match on this week's main event of WCPW. So that's just awesome in itself that we're going to get to hear Jim call wrestling again, and it's actual wrestling. Like just this week, Osprey was on there, and speaking of Osprey, they announced this week that. And Kevin Kelly even said it this way exactly. This may even piss a couple people off. But they ROH announced this week that Ospreay will be joining them for their Reach for the Sky tour in UK for ROH. So the people I've talked to are pretty pumped about it. But I don't really know why. I mean, some people will probably bitch and whine and always hate, Ospreay and Ricochet for that match, but anytime
get over it. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get over some of the matches that WWE have given you,
people have gotten more upset over that than the Joey Ryan dick toss.
I mean, I don't know about that. There's people. I mean, I think there's more people that bitch about Young Bucks and super kicks than that match. But all I'm saying is if you can get through Michael Cole and Lawler at Mania, or Bret Hart and Vince McMahon at Mania, I think it'll be all right. But yeah, so I think that'll be pretty cool, because the other people announced for that is Lethal, Cole, the Briscoes, and Castle.
Okay.
Dalton Castle. They're the other five that's announced for that UK tour. So, if you're listening and you're going to be in the UK, get your information and make sure you go check out those shows, because it's going to be fun. I mean, look at the talent. Plus, they're bringing some of their own, homemade boys like Ospreay. And I wish that they would bring in Marty Scurll at least. I mean, come on.
That would be nice.
He's just
been on fire for.
He's just doing awesome work, and he won back his. I don't know if I don't know if you follow a lot of progress like I do, but he won his title back. Yeah. So
I saw that. I didn't get to watch it. But.
I'm pretty pumped about that. You didn't get to watch it,
dude. I've been in a coma.
I know, but I mean, you should have at least had it on while you were in the coma.
Yeah.
Tell the wife to turn it on, bro.
What else you got?
Oh, you didn't? Did you not? Well, first of all, before I talk, I know you can't. I know you can't, and you shouldn't be looking at my notes. What about your notes? Oh, we're done with your notes. We're through your notes. It's because you've been in a coma. I know, but since you've been in a coma, Jericho. Well, first of all, the stuff with Sasha and Enzo was killer.
It was good.
And I also think with it turning into Jericho and KO versus
Jericho.
Enzo and Cass, I think is also going to be
Yeah,
really
that'll be
good stuff. But shit, I forget what I was going to say. Oh yeah, Jericho this week put up a thing that said, I was so pumped and honored to play the Kiss cruise last year.
Oh, yeah.
Kiss has a cruise, like a
Right.
boat cruise, that they go on and they have music. Well, Jericho this week said, "Hey, if I was to put a cruise on and have wrestling and music, would you be down? I am ecstatic for it, and I will be the very first person to buy tickets for it."
Well,
and it also,
you'll have to let us know how it is, because I will not be going.
I've already been told we're going if it happens, so I'm pretty excited. But it even had on the thing, it said, what other companies would you want to be involved with this? And it had Evolve, ROH.
Oh, so there'll be wrestling.
No, yeah, it'll be wrestling.
Okay.
Which I think is
I just thought it'd be a bunch of wrestling fans hanging out.
Oh, no. There's going to be
couldn't
wrestling.
I couldn't stand being on a boat with you for 2 hours during senior prom.
Dude, do you remember senior prom?
I do remember.
Do you remember how I got
dreadful.
in trouble? I took a cane and it fell from the top balcony and landed on the table below, and it scared the piss out of our principal's wife, and she spilled a drink on herself, and
I don't remember that.
And they hated me for that for a minute. And
pretty
they took my cane for the rest of the dance.
Can you rent that?
No, I borrowed it from a friend.
Okay.
I don't rent
Is
stuff.
that A. James Mansions?
If it was A. James Mansions, I'd have probably got more damn respect. But anyway, so I think it's pretty cool that Jericho's out there looking to do that kind of thing, which is always...
That's cool.
Which is always cool. Also, shout out to JT Dunn making his TNA appearance.
Okay.
Then, what the fuck? Let it be known.
We're actually filming this or taping this in a Walmart.
Yeah, we're in a Walmart and people's walking in. No. It was announced today. I don't know if you checked this out, but it's called Experience 2017, and they always do this pretty much every year. But it is between March 30th to April 2nd.
WrestleMania time.
Yes, and that's the point. It's in Orlando, and it is a Thursday through Sunday card, and it has Beyond Wrestling out of Providence, Rhode Island, Progress out of UK, Evolve, Chikara, Shimmer, and a couple others, but it's just
a festival,
wrestling
pretty much
all weekend.
Nice.
There's Progress with one on a Thursday night, and then there's Progress again on Friday with Beyond Wrestling at like midnight, and like it goes like late, and it's for every day. But then what's really cool is Saturday. Saturday they're having Progress versus Evolve.
Nice.
So, I'm actually looking at some.
Take advantage of the Clarksburg to Orlando flight.
I'm thinking about it because they're like $50.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually going to get to see Beyond Wrestling on Saturday in Providence because they're at a festival, and I randomly looked around and saw that they are going to be in Providence on Saturday, and then like one of my favorite bands are in Providence that night. So I'm going to go watch. So I'm going to go watch both of those things. But as far as I know, Beyond Wrestling's next big show is the Battle of Who Cares. It is August 28th, an hour from where my mother lives.
Okay.
An hour the other direction, and it's going to have Chris Hero and Tommy End and a couple others. But on the same day, an hour the other direction from my mother is the show that me and Logan Thorne will be at with Sami Callihan versus Cody Rhodes.
Okay. Is that the El Generico, or not El
Generico? And Liger versus
yeah.
their big guy. And JT Dunn's on it too. Hanson from
the band?
No, not Hanson. but like Hansen from ROH will be there.
Okay.
He's working. But the promo, I put it up on our page. The promo that Sammy did for Cody, for me, made that match seem even cooler for right now, and I'm pretty pumped. I was pumped about seeing Cody, and I was pumped about seeing Liger, but the fact that I saw that promo makes it like Sammy was pissed. I've even taught you stuff, and you didn't do it, and I've taught you, like I said, he said that I've taught you stuff myself, and I didn't make that list. You put up these people and these people on the list, and you wanted to do Bola and all this and that. I didn't make the list, and and he's all pissed about that. So in his mind, he wants to go and show that Cody should have put his name on that list. So I'm pretty excited to see that match August 28th.
Yeah, Cody's going to be in a lot of upcoming stuff because his no compete is up this month. So
his no compete is up. Somehow Ryback is for that same company August 25th on Thursday in New York. He's doing something for them.
I don't think the WWE cares about him so much.
And he's charging $4,500 all the way up to $5,000, depending on how what was the word, professional or not sketchy the promotion is. But you can get a cheaper price if you book many dates at once.
Okay.
Anybody that's paying that money for Ryback is a goof.
Yes.
But, since we're talking about Ryback as well, it was also announced that there may be discussions with New Japan Pro Wrestling. How do you feel about this?
I mean, they have Michael Elgin. I don't know why, if there's another spot like that for him.
Exactly. I don't. People's like, well, he could go here and he could go there. And he could do this and he could do that.
I think the Japanese audience would love him.
The Japanese audience will like him, and we're going to figure out real quick if he can take the style.
And I could totally see
he needs to go to TNA. Period.
Yeah, I guess
he can't go to Mexico because they have Brian Cage. He can't go to Lucha Underground because they have Brian Cage. He shouldn't be going to Japan because, like I said, and you said yourself, they have Elgin. They have people his size.
Yeah.
It's not like ROH or PWG wants him. It's not like Evolve will want him. They're not going to want him in the UK. He needs to go directly to TNA as fast as possible.
If I were him, I would go to Japan over TNA.
He's not going to be able to take it. He thinks he's all this big guy and tough stuff. He's going to get his head taken off.
It'd be pretty bad, yeah.
And he's going to bitch and whine about it. And before you know it, he's going to be whining like CM Punk.
Well, those two probably will end up belonging together one day.
What do you mean belonging together? That sounds gross.
To the point where nobody cares about either one of them.
I think Sandow's already there, but if Barrett and Ryback went to TNA, it would help TNA a ton.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For Sandow and Barrett alone,
I don't think Ryback would help TNA too much.
I do. Who do they have that's big? That's white.
I just
nothing against Lashley, but
I'm not someone that would.
Ryback can still sell stuff though. Kids like him.
I guess I just don't think I would tune in to see him.
No, and I'm not saying. Has anyone? If I will eat my own foot, if anybody can tell me that they've tuned into wrestling to see Ryback alone. Like, I understand if it's like, oh, I'm watching wrestling, Ryback's on, my kid digs him, something like that. But if anybody has ever said, man, I can't wait to watch Raw tonight to see what they do with Ryback,
a few kids.
I would run boner first into a brick wall because that is absolutely horrendous. And if anybody says it, they need shot on the spot.
Well, since we've talked about the LGBT and boners and Eva Marie, let's go Can we go to match of the week yet?
Sure.
Okay, so it's been missing for a while. So I have to go back to 1996.
What's been? Wait a minute. What's been missing?
I've been missing from this podcast.
How are you not going to pick Cedric and Ibushi?
Because I think a lot of people know that was probably the best match of the week. So that's probably...
And it wasn't.
Okay. Are you going to pick Sheamus and Cesaro?
Of course I am.
August 10th, 1996, the god-awful WCW Hog Wild pay-per-view in Sturgis. One of the worst pay-per-views of all time.
Why? You mean it wasn't cool whenever they'd be trying to wrestle and you know,
and
the fans
were
decided
revving up the motorcycles the entire... I'm sure there are people that are dead from smoker's lung because of that show.
I have a feeling, supposedly that had something to do with Eddie Guerrero's death.
Okay.
Just working that match in general, working that pay-per-view because of that crap.
The only match on that card that's worth anything, Dean Malenko versus Chris Benoit, was a really good match on that show.
I think there was a Psychosis versus Juventud. That's really good.
Okay, well,
I'm not 100% sure.
That's the match that I remember.
Which Hog Wild?
1996.
Let's look it up. It's not like we don't have it at our fingertips.
Using the Google button here at the Walmart.
Yes.
But, you know, the whole motorcycle thing, they talk about that on like every WCW documentary as being a great idea.
It wasn't.
It was terrible. Maybe it looked cool on TV, but it just, I don't know. I never really dug that so much.
Those weren't even, like, those were bought shows.
So,
like, Dusty's fashion for that show was absolutely ridiculous. He had a cut-off jean shirt and Daisy Duke cut-off jean shorts with cowboy boots on. Like, I can see this man's kneecaps. Tony Schiavone has on a jean vest with a leather coat. And what's Bobby the Brain have on? His brain coat from WWE.
Very nice.
Like, he's the man. See, I told you there was an awesome match. Don't be talking smack. You had Ray versus Ultimo. You had Mean Gene in a jean vest. Fire and Ice fought each other, bro.
okay, well, that's
Fire and Ice was god awful, and you know, Bull Naka versus Medusa in WCW after it's already been done forever in WWF is a joke. This match, yeah, I mean it is pretty sweet. Malenko versus Benoit was a cool match. I don't remember the Steiners versus Harlem Heat that much.
Flair and Guerrero.
Flair and Guerrero, killer match. You know, what else was there in the main?
Hogan and the Giant.
Well, no, you had Sting and the Outsiders was on this match, and then what? What else was
Hogan
there?
and the Giant.
Is that it?
Yeah. They revved up the motorcycles the whole time Hogan was out there.
Because he's awesome, duh.
Oh, yeah. What's your match of the week?
My match of the week, WCPW. The first match on this week's TV was Ospreay, Noah Dar from CWC, and El Ligo or El Larigo or Larigo or whatever. They three-way for WCPW's opening match this week on TV was absolutely killer. I don't even usually like three-ways, but this was a good match. And not to take away, by no means take away from Ibushi and Cedric Alexander, but I mean, I'm not saying I'm some type of It's just I knew that was going to be good. So when I saw it and expected it, it was satisfying because I knew it was going to be that good. But like I said, the Tajiri first match, that match to me was better than that one just because of the unknowing of it being.
Right.
But the best example is that match right there on WCPW, the first match. So that's why it's my match of the week. And at the end, they all shook hands because they were all friends. It was competition.
Wrestler of the week. I gotta go. Since I've been gone for a while, I'm going with Johnny Gargano because he's been on a really good run this last couple weeks with the match with Ciampa on the CWC, the tag match he had on NXT, just the overall way he's gotten over, just with the stuff he's done online.
Yeah, and exactly. Like that's another one is like a lot of people didn't think like he has much of a personality. Like,
I think he's got a great. I mean, he was over at the show we went to in Pittsburgh against Sami freaking Zayn.
And but I mean, another person that a lot of people say doesn't have a personality, is Sami Zayn. But it's just some people can just get over with their wrestling, and he's one of them.
Yeah,
and Tommaso's the same way. So the fact that both of them have been doing this. Glorious bomb thing has been really entertaining
really cool.
and fun.
Yeah. You're right.
Oh, I picked Cedric Alexander. He deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
And I know I'm going to get crap for it, but I know Ibushi is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I know, but he just really doesn't do much for me.
Okay.
I enjoy his matches and I'll watch him, but it's not like I'm going to buy an Ibushi shirt or I'm wanting Ibushi to win this tournament, or it's like, oh shit, it's Ibushi. Like, that's not how it is for me. For this tournament, I was more oh shit for Brian Kendrick and Rick Swan and Cedric Alexander than I was for Sabre Jr., Gargano, or those kind of guys. And I have to say this because I have to call myself a hypocrite in this situation. But I'm going to be one of the old guys for a second. Zack Sabre Jr. just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
He looks like two hot dogs.
Yeah.
He has no muscle definition at all.
Yeah.
And of all people out there, he makes it look too easy compared to some people. And me and TJ's had this disagreement and argument about, well, he's so good, he just makes it look easy. That's his gimmick. No, that's not how it works. Like, you struggle for a headlock. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
My 2-year-old and me fight, and there's still some force that forces me not to struggle, but to use force back. It doesn't even look like he's using force sometimes to do what he's doing. Now, can he wrestle and work his butt off and have amazing matches? Yes. And I like him. But at the same time,
I would prefer Gallagher over him, honestly, just because of...
Gallagher?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love Gallagher.
Because, I mean...
I love him from
his
work in
so much
in progress.
Better. Yeah, and I'm not saying Sabre's a bad worker. I'm just saying...
I talked about this the other day. You know who I'd really like to see work? Gallagher versus Gotch.
Okay, yeah.
That would be killer.
I mean, and this is probably, I think, why Sabre won't sign, is I think Hunter would want him in NXT for a while to build a little to his body sense. And just, adapt a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of things. A lot of people don't realize, like, I want to work WWE. My goal is WWE. No, it's not. Some people don't want that. Like, if some people look at the wrestling that they have in their area as the big time.
I mean, that's not to say they don't want to be there, but they want to explore and go around a little bit.
Explore or just go, you know what? Like, okay, let's look at it this way. It's not a settling thing. It's just like, yeah, I know that's awesome, but that's just not what I want. It's not my thing, and I mean, I guess you could say it's settling, but what would they do with Sabre? In all honesty, unless they make the light heavy, the cruiserweight division like actually mean something, like it is in Japan, which I hope that's what they're doing. But
I just hope they don't make it like Braun Strowman. Okay, this is the cruiserweight you're fighting this week.
Yeah, here's Zack Sabre Jr. from CWC, and here's Strowman. Like I would hope that they wouldn't do all this work of a bracket and a tournament just to then feed them to Strowman or feed them to whoever, So, but like I said, I hate being that, like, I'm old school and what happened to just wrestlers being wrestlers, but that guy just needs to put some weight on and just
he's got
for it to look better himself,
and he's
like
young,
in general.
So he's got time. But anyway, so do you have anything else before we sign off here?
I mean, not really. We got some new titles coming into play.
Yeah,
it seems like that was announced.
Yeah,
how do you feel about that? I mean, a lot of people don't like 2 titles.
I'll just have to wait till it happens. I don't know yet.
I think it's killer. I think it'll help. Like I said, I'm down with whatever titles they want to add, as long as they keep the fucking brand split.
Yeah.
And I'm not watching the Universal title, the heavyweight title, the IC, the US, the tag, both women's belts on one show.
Right.
Make sure they're split. Don't bring them together. Don't do that crap.
Yeah. It's
not title versus title. It's not a super card of whatever. And
then when you do it, it's special.
You can have champion versus champion,
like a WrestleMania, cross brand.
Yeah,
match.
But that's just asking to cause more crap.
Maybe.
And I also think that they need to. It's hard to do, but I also think that it needs to be like one brand takes Mania and one brand takes SummerSlam and makes it that much bigger. It's hard to do, but I honestly, I just don't. I'm not gonna like. Because if you're going to split it up, then make it 2 damn shows. Like you have Wrestle Kingdom. That's a good way to put it. You have Wrestle Kingdom, I guess. And you have the ROH title that's defended on that. You have the 3-way open weight title. You have the open weight title. You have the light heavyweight title. You have the junior tags. You have the heavy tags. You have the heavyweight title. You have the IC title. I guess it'll work. It can work, and it's not too bothersome because that's just one company. And look at all that. Mm-hmm. They're going to have 2 tag belts, 2 women's belts, 2 mid card belts, 2 big belts, and hopefully they add a cruiserweight belt. Hopefully this isn't just for like,
maybe,
hey, I got a fucking medal, which they are giving away medals to like. The last 8 or something like that.
Okay.
They're going to give medals,
participatory trophies.
which is pretty cool. They look pretty cool. But yeah, hopefully this leads to a title holder, and then they work from there.
All right, guys. Hey, check us out on Twitter, RSW Podcast, Instagram,
RSW Podcast. If you this week I got bored. If you play WWE 2K16, Real Shoot Wrestling has a ring on there now for PlayStation 4. So if you want to check that out, you can go on the Facebook and check us out at Real Shoot Wrestling. Subscribe to our iTunes and comment. Give us some reviews. Let us know. Also, don't forget, guys, if you got any questions for us, let us know. Get them out to us. If you have any requests for some more information about certain companies or certain wrestlers or what matches you should watch to get into it, because this happened to me like the other day. Like I saw this Amber Moon stuff and vignette that they're doing, and I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah. And
then I found out that it's for some girl, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it was just for some girl, and I was like, oh, that seems like a waste of a vignette. But then I asked someone, I was like, hey, I don't see I don't really know who this is, and I think it's a waste of a vignette. Like send me some stuff so I can get some background knowledge on this girl.
Yeah.
And I watched her some, and I'm pretty excited to see her come into the women's division in NXT because I think it's going to totally step it up. I think it's finally someone that is Asuka's size and can go with Asuka physically. So, because he actually sent me a video where it had a couple different people, and Asuka was one of the girls in the video. They also had, I don't know if anybody watched it, I forget what exactly her name is, but she was a Japanese girl and she was in TNA for the longest time.
Yeah.
I forget, but she was badass. She was a bigger girl. She wore like a shirt and pants. But she had a match with her on there as well, and they beat each other's ass. So I'm pretty excited to see what all they do with this Amber Moon.
All right, guys, we'll check you out next time.
Ember Moon.
Ember Moon.
I'm sorry.
We'll check you guys out next time. Thanks for joining us.
I'm glad you're back, by the way.
Oh, thank you, sir.